What is launch control all about?
So basically, launch control for us, it's not a motorsport event at all. For us,
Okay.
it's more of a lifestyle event where people come, drive their cars, have a good time. It's not a competitive event at all. People
Hmm.
do compete there amongst themselves, but we don't want to promote that.
Okay.
We want to promote safe driving.
Hmm.
We don't want to like dictate anybody. Like I will talk about that later
Hmm.
also,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
how launch control is different than other events, what happen around the country. But so it's a place where pan India, people from all around the country come get together because we only get to see these cars, like special cars or people who build their cars on Instagram. That's the
Hmm.
only place we get to see all these cars.
Hmm.
And why not bring them like up close and in person, and like these people can connect, we can meet those people, and also that it's like an unlimited kind of event. Like you come there, you pay a certain amount, and then because to be honest, when we started launch control also, for us it was like if we would go to an event, what would we expect?
Hmm. Hmm.
That is what we give back to our friends, participants,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And so first, that once you enter launch control, you don't have to pay for anything else. Once you have paid
Hmm.
X amount for the
Hmm.
participation,
Hmm.
which nowadays is 26,500 with taxes,
Hmm. Hmm.
which will get you a single day participation where you can run your car on the drift arena for like 8 hours. It's a unlimited
Oh.
access to the drift arena for 8 hours. You can test out your skills because people wouldn't want to put their M cars on the road and drift around, right?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
scary. It's very
Hmm.
unsafe for the driver and the person on the outside as
So,
well.
what kind of driving patterns are you following? Is it? It's. I mean, just for the viewers, it's
Yeah.
drift and drag, and anything else more
So
than that?
also we have a small handling track, and we also introduced a drift competition this time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we create like different segments so that people just don't like drive on a straight line
Huh.
for quarter miles, since
Huh.
day one for us is always going to be like quarter miles.
Right.
And apart from that, we have the drift arena where you can go, you can learn. We have professional people there who've been in
Right.
the sports since a very long time.
Hmm. Hmm.
They can
Hmm. Hmm.
help you
Hmm.
out, you can take their
Hmm.
guidance, and you can also be a passenger to them.
Hmm.
Like they are
Hmm.
more than happy to
Of
take you
course.
around and teach you, or maybe you can grasp or learn something from them.
Right.
They
Right.
are more
Right.
than
Right.
happy to help anybody who comes at launch control. And
Hmm.
like friends like Kabir or like Dhananjay or like Samyak,
Hmm. Hmm.
or
Hmm. Hmm.
or maybe like Mudit. So all these boys, these guys are Ashwin. So all these guys are now getting the hang of drifting,
I
and
see.
they're getting really good at it.
Hmm.
So it's good to see the drift scene also growing. For us, it was always an addition,
I see.
but now we also like put it as a whole thing now.
Huh.
Because for us earlier it was like, since launch control 1, launch control 2,
Hmm.
we just did drag races, like,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
not a drag race, it's a quarter mile run. We never call it a race. It's
Hmm.
always like a quarter mile run.
So tell me one thing. I mean, in the whole drag race thing, a quarter mile run is there.
Yeah.
How do you categorize the
So
participants so that it doesn't become unfair?
no, so basically it's like, since we, like I said, it's not a competition. It's
Huh.
just to have fun and see where your car stands.
Right.
And anyway, like a, for say, like a car like mine, or like maybe if my partner's car, like a E63S, he will never get to race like a SF90 or like a GTR with 1500 horsepower or 1000 horsepower in an SF90. This
Hmm.
is the only place where safely you can go against these cars and see where you stand.
I see.
That will give you that motivation that, okay, I want to build further, or I want to get something which is
Hmm.
even faster, and try to like
Hmm.
not compete, but at least run against them and see where they stand.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So
Hmm.
up till launch control 2, we only did drags,
Hmm.
right? The quarter mile run.
Hmm.
And post launch control 2, then we got a lot of support from Bombay. We got a lot of people coming in from pan India, because up till launch control 2, it was just Delhi. It was just
I see.
NCR.
I see. I
We
see.
were
I see.
only
I see.
catering our friends, and launch control 1 had 28 participants. That's how we started, with just 28 participants.
Hmm.
And how did we get to like figure out that we can do something like this on the booth? Is that we used to, in the night, not at all recommend it to anybody.
Huh.
Please don't do it. We always used to be on private roads
Huh.
and would want to like go against each other and see who is faster. And every time we would want to do that, there would be like a mismatch, or maybe the horn was not correct, the
Huh.
countdown was not correct,
Hmm.
or
Hmm. Hmm.
maybe uh, the place was not safe to push the car that way, right?
There was always something to start a
Something,
controversy.
yeah, and we would never like be able to figure that who is faster.
Right, of course.
Because of course, on streets or places like these, even on private roads, you can't do all of this.
Correct, you
We
can't.
wouldn't recommend anybody, and that's the reason we went on to the booth, and then we
Right.
tried to figure out that is the main straight safe enough. It's a 950-meter straight, right? So 402 meters is a drag. It's a quarter-mile run. Post that,
Right.
we have 500 meters.
Huh.
We tested all the cars, like the heaviest cars. We took an Urus, we took an G63, a Cayenne Coupe Turbo, to see that will it stop, will it not stop? Because for us, just putting out an event is not the scene. For us, it is safety. Up till launch control 5, like literally, we've never seen anything go even into gravel. On our track days, on our drags, it was always something that nothing happens. We always want to brief our drivers first. They go into the race control, they have their proper briefing, how to go about things, how to enter and exit from different tracks.
Right.
So everything is briefed before, and also we do like a one-shot video, or we put everything on the group earlier. So we have a participants group where we have around 200 participants right now.
Okay.
Over 5-6 editions, and we started with 28.
Okay.
So we've grown to that stage now, that where we've able to accumulate around 200 participants from all over the country now.
Okay.
We have almost hit all the states now. Like in the north,
wow.
I think it's only Kolkata which we have not been able to cater. Or would love to cater them as well. And apart from that, like Bombay is like our main soul. Like post launch control 3, these are the people who've always backed us up and made it possible for us to do like a 2-day event. Like, because whenever Bombay people show up or people from Chandigarh show up, they show up in full force. Like Chandigarh will roll up with at least 15 cars, Bombay will roll up with like 25 cars. So they are very enthusiastic about cars, and I feel in the north this should be like more of a thing. Like in south, you see people are so enthusiastic about cars,
right,
and they want to tune it, they want to build it. But
of course,
up here in the north, I feel it's still lacking.
Huh.
Maybe we don't have the right workshops, or maybe not the right mindset. People are very laid back here. They are very lazy here. I'm sorry, like for the north, but that's the case. Like
I think you rightly said the mindset, because I personally myself feel that it's a huge difference between, say, South India and North India.
Correct.
Also. I mean, people, for example, let's just talk about a basic performance car also, even if it's a BMW M5, let's say, not like a 911 or a Ferrari.
Yes.
If it's a BMW M5 or an M4, an M4 buyer based out of South India would use it majorly, not all of them, but majorly anybody who buys an M performance car in South India, they would most likely be able to, or tend to drive the M like an M.
Correct.
Out here, it's very rarely we have some people, like Kabir is one of them, and there are a few more people who use an M like an M.
Correct.
But majority, large chunk of people, they buy it as a statement.
Correct. Like this, for them, this is more of like you just rightly said, like a status symbol, right? And they would want to take their cars around to like clubs or markets. A car enthusiast would never do that.
Right.
He would take it to the right place where it's the right audience to see that kinds of cars. People who will appreciate and not like shit on you and say that, oh, he has the money and he's trying to just show off. Like for me, I've never taken my car to any of the malls or the market, or to, for that matter, even a club. I don't like to drive it there. Anyway, it's not meant to be there.
That's also because it's a guzzler.
Also, it's a guzzler. Also, like, of course, I wouldn't recommend anybody to drink and drive. So for me, it is something which I know can also like put me in a very bad spot.
Right.
So it's better not to drive it. Keep it parked. Or either, and also like a car enthusiast, I wouldn't let my driver drive it. I love my car too much. I wouldn't let him. Maybe he can just park it around. But for me, it's very difficult to just let my baby in somebody else's hand who is not as trained or professional to drive a car like that.
Of course.
Because with so much power, then there is responsibility.
Absolutely. And not everybody sort of understands that. So you also spoke right now about the safety part. So just to elaborate on that, how do you ensure, and what kind of safety measures do you take in a launch control event?
So like I just spoke about the quarter-mile strip, right? So we tested it at least 100 times before letting any of the participants get onto the track. Even when we started launch control 1, before that we had already tested that strip with at least 50 times with at least 20 different cars.
Okay.
These are cars which were owned by friends, or maybe owned by one of our partners, or maybe my car or something like that. Because we wanted to make sure that nobody gets hurt. But I would suggest that one should know their car before getting it to the track. Like you
Right.
should know what the limit is.
Hmm.
And if you don't know, then you should take it slow. Like at least for your first attempt, since like on our track day, we give 70 minutes of track time. It's like a 35-minute session into
Okay.
two. We have like simulators. You can perfect your skills there.
Hmm.
They can just get whatever car you are driving, they can install that on the simulator and make you drive it.
So from the safety point of view, you always recommend that if you're not sure, just try your hands on the simulator
First, and then get onto the track.
Okay.
And also be very attentive when the briefing is happening. Like one should not be like fooling around and like talking, being on their phone. This is something which is very important.
So could specific points, if you can tell, like we'll get to the drifting part later.
Yeah.
Let's just, if we even just consider the drag for right now in the drag racing event, what are the different 4-5 measures that you ensure from the safety point of view? This is sorted.
Yeah. So basically we have like a
like one you mentioned is a runoff area.
Runoff area is one. Then always we will have medical support available. So we will have the hospital running for throughout 8 hours.
Okay.
We will have at least 8 people in the medical center, which will have like 4 doctors, senior doctors, and 4 like nurse or like a helper.
Okay.
To ensure that if anything happens, just in case, it should be rapid response. So because everything we are running by the clock.
Right.
So anything happens in 15 minutes, we need to get rid of it and make the track live again. And like fortunately, we have never been through this till now, so we don't know how it is. But we are well prepared for any. Touch wood. We are very well prepared for any kind of incident happening at the track. Even if you go into the wall, we will make sure that you are safe. We will make sure your car pitches don't go out. Media is completely controlled. We can't just let any of our friends or participants lose anything when they are at the event.
And I think even if I'm not wrong, that happens on the grandstand stretch.
Yes.
So towards the end where the turn also starts, just in case let's say the brakes fail, God forbid nothing happens, but brakes agar fail hoti hai, तो I think last में वहाँ पे concrete wall नहीं है, वहाँ पे tires है ना?
No. So what BIC recently has done after MotoGP, anyway they have better Tech Pro barriers now. Okay. So what a Tech Pro barrier is, it will always put your impact towards ahead. So even if you will crash towards the wall, like facing the wall, it will push you ahead, so that the impact is lesser. Right.
I see.
And anyway, post MotoGP, the gravel is so much because of the new track layout. Anything, nobody can get to the wall. They are stopped way before the wall because there's so much of gravel. And the new track is very technical. It's become fast and it's also tight. Like it's not very easy to like. It is not how BIC was earlier. There was a lot of runoff area earlier. There is 0% runoff area in today's time. If you make a mistake, you are in the gravel, or either you are in a wall. So you need to like understand when your brakes are hot. You need to give your car some time. You need to let it cool off. You can just try your hot lap in the next session. This is not the last time you'll be driving on the track. So I feel safety, your own safety, other cars running on the track.
You need to be able to gauge your vehicle.
Correct.
Sense आपके अंदर उतना होना चाहिए कि हाँ यार, I know that when I'm stepping on the brakes at 200 kilometers an hour, I know how much is it going to stop.
Yeah, is it fading? Is it already faded? Should I give it a cool down or just bring it back to the pit? And also, I would like to mention that we have service on demand. Like whatever you want, we try to have most of the parts available there. If you want like brake pads, if you want like brake lines, fluid, coolant, we have all our orders or like pelvis, all kinds of equipment, computers to make your car run again. Like with all the G63s, it was whenever we would launch it very hard or like do it multiple times, it will give like a formatic error. So that way, we can't just let the person be disheartened and like my car popped an error and I can't drive it again because it's not letting me go into launch control.
I see.
So it's like a passive error, right? It's not a permanent error. So we'll fix it right then and we will bring you back to the track.
Nice.
So that's the kind of service we want to give. Even like we talk about food, anything, it's top notch every time, and you don't have to pay for anything once you enter launch control. In your kit, you will get your car stickers, you will get your band, driver's band, passenger band, your coupons for food, and it will keep you hydrated and fully like stuffed throughout the day. We give like enough coupons so that nobody feels that it's just for the sake of it. We make sure that if I would have come to an event, how much food will I eat? How many desserts do you expect a person to eat? And since he's coming with a co-passenger, we would always also want to keep that in consideration.
But then tell me one thing. I mean, there would be so many more. If it's like 28, let's say round figure 30,000 rupees also, there would be so many people with normal cars also who would be willing to come. But how do you restrict that audience then?
So that audience, unfortunately, we have to tell them like, we are not very happy in doing that, but we can't help it because it's all for the safety. I can't have, and also we are very short on time. Like we only get 6 hours on the track. That's the kind of light we have in India. Like we can only run our cars, or even if you want to run like very early morning, then in the winters it's too foggy.
So you only limit it to sports cars?
Yeah, sports cars and super, like it's not limited. We would love to have builds like I would love to have like a old Mustang or like an old any car which was with like 300 horsepower, but he's put like a bigger engine into it. He's put drag radials. He's made it like a 800, 700 horsepower car. So that kinds of builds anyway we appreciate. Like if you want to come in with a regular car, but just make it as like competitive or like at least be in that league.
So the bracket starts, I think, at about 300 horsepower.
300 in a sports shape.
In a sports shape.
So like a soft A35, soft AMG or a S.
I see.
So something like that.
Okay.
We have a lot of queries for cars like a V12 680. He's like, I have the money, I have the car, I meet your criteria, I have like 600 horsepower, 580 horsepower on my car. But then I have to just very politely tell him that, boss, I'm really sorry, I know your car power is up to that level, but the brakes aren't. It's a regular ongoing, it's a road car. It's like other cars are also road cars, sports cars, supercars, but they are equipped with that kind of equipment then.
So then you would have to be talking to so many people here. I mean, every single person who's wanting to participate.
Yeah.
You must be talking to almost every single one.
Yes, and I like me and with it do it like.
At least जहाँ पे आपको doubt है कि इसके पास वो गाड़ी नहीं है, जहाँ पे आपको पता है इसके पास M5 है तो ठीक है.
Yeah. No, so we have a proper. How do I put it?
It's like a form kind of a thing.
It's not a form. So basically, it's like templates. Okay.
Okay.
What we have on Instagram. So and mostly people like to DM us, and
I see.
And other people anyway know us. So they have their. So most of people who come at launch controls are friends and like, or either like acquaintances or people who my friends know, and they have gone back to their city and spoken good things about their event, and they also want to be a part of it. So that's how it's grown. It's never been like and any person who is coming to launch control, personally, I would want to know them because I am the person who takes care of, and me and Vidit who takes care about participants. So my thing is that they are comfortable. Mostly their transport also. I try to figure that out for them. I try to go to any extent to like just help out my boys to like for their car safety, to make things happen in time. So all these things I try to do it going out of the way also because for the love of cars and like just a car enthusiast and me doing something like this, I would like to like help anybody in any way possible. Like even if he wants tires 2 days before the event, he'll be like, I'm coming for your event and can you please help me out? I'll be more than happy. I'll be like, bro, I'll send you all the contacts. You just call them, give our reference. Even if you will get a better price also, and you can also get those tires. And since mostly we have our tire sponsors also on board, so these people anyway pre-book their tires. Once they are on the track, so we have everything available there. Like starting from tires, from brakes, everything. So we are very well equipped because I don't want a person coming in from Bombay or like Chandigarh or somewhere and maybe he did not check that particular thing and it's gone wrong. It's gone wrong. So I need to have that kind of service to like make the car run again. That is also where launch control stands out. Like we are for the people. If they are driving, they are coming, that's the reason and that is why we are doing it. We can also do it at a personal level and only run 20 of our cars, like my small circle. We can also do that. And that's how we wanted to start it with. That's why we only started with 28 cars. But then we saw people are as mad as us. They are as enthusiastic as us. They also want to like put their cars through this. They want to test their cars. They want to run it around the track. They want to do it in a straight line. They want to, and also to be honest, why did we add the drift part to it? Because every time I would go to BIC, after the track day, people would want to like do donuts in the support paddock, right? And then BIC people will come and then shout at them that this is not the space to do it, leave.
Let's make it official.
I was like, bro, this is rent out this area also, let them have fun. After a track day, they just want to get rid of their tires. They're like, bro, we just want to burn them off now. Let's have fun, and also in a safer environment. It's a 700 meters straight.
It's huge.
It's huge. I can like imagine we can build like 4 different.
It's the same
tracks.
place, na? BND also happens at in.
Yes,
that's a huge space.
Yeah, so basically for us, so these guys run it as
you
a
can
main
have
event.
like 5 drift arenas going on there.
Yeah, so what we did this time was one was a record attempt arena, then one was a burnyard, one was a gymkhana, then was a drift track.
Oh wow!
So we built like 4 different tracks, and that with it does for us and our people who are from the motorsport community. Like they are well versed than me also, because I was also into motorsports. We were together in motorsports, but after a time, luckily by God's grace, or like we worked really hard for it, and I could like get cars which I've just always dreamt of, right? And then I literally had that step up, and then I wanted to explore this side of the cars then. Like from building like a Civic back in the day, building a Polo back in the day, and doing things even to like my dad's Daewoo CLO. Like this is back in 2002 or 3.
Okay.
And that's where it all started. Like back in the day, he had a dual tone paint. We get to see dual tone paints nowadays.
Now.
So he had all of that back in the day. Like he had a full red interior. We only get to see a red interior on a car which is above 2 crores in today's time. He had all of that back in the day. He had a big wing where it had that you see on the new GT3s. People put like a full red, that LED light on that spoiler, right? So he had that back in the day in 2002. Or maybe like 2001, he had all of that. And I was just 6 years old, or maybe 7 years old back then. So I've seen this in front of me, him doing all of this, and he had an exhaust on the car. So that's where the genes have come from. Like that's where it started for me.
So in connection to what you just said, that brings me to my next question.
Yeah.
Is that what exactly inspired you? I mean, I would love to know what inspired, because this is a lot of hard work that you have done for Launch Control. I mean, it's not a joke managing the entire show.
Yes.
Even if you have partners, whatever it is, because you're passionate about it, you want to. It's not that you have to. You want to make sure that everybody is having a good time, including yourself. If not this thing, but what was the driving force? What inspired you to do this? I mean, you also happen to run a business.
Yes. To do Launch Control, it was, to be honest, like I wanted to get the cars off the streets and onto the track, to run them safely. Unfortunately, we have had incidents, people I've known or people I've been close to, they have lost their lives in a car crash. So I didn't want that to happen to any of my other friends. So that is one thing that I was like, let's take it to the track. We have cars which are not meant to be driven on the roads. Like cars like with 1000 Nm torque, 800 horsepower. These cars are not meant to be driven on the roads. They are like a killing machine then. In kind of traffic and the kind of atmosphere we are in. You never know, there'll be a dog stepping out, or there'll be a cow, or there'll be like a person, or there'll be a bike.
True.
So it's not safe for you and for the third party as well. Correct. So that is why we wanted to take it to the track. And for me to get into cars, it's because of my dad. Like I saw him doing all these modifications to cars, and that's why I can't keep any of my car stock. The day I get it, maximum like 2 months into it, it will have everything possible. Like I can't just resist myself. Like I don't care about warranty. I don't care about anything. I'm okay to spend that extra buck for that thrill, which I've gotten by a tune or like a downpipe or like a full system exhaust.
But
anything.
Then you need a platform to really put it all to use.
Yeah. So I can't run them on the streets. Like these cars are not meant to be. So yes, you can drive them in a softer manner, I would say. You can chill around, you can cruise around in these cars also. But then there's no fun. Why did you get these? You have other cars to do that, like to chill and to drive around.
That kind of fuel.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, like almost 200 rupees a liter nowadays for fuel, like for 100 octane, and you're running them at a speed of 50-60. What's the point?
Are you serious? 100 octane is 200 rupees a liter almost.
HP power 100 right now should be like 180 rupees. And the car will give you like 2 kilometers per liter or 3 kilometers per liter. So it's like useless. I would want to just like thrash it. Why did we do it? Is because people were ripping off everybody, right? There are so many companies, so many events, they're just ripping off people, right? We give it for 26,500. Up till launch control 5, we were flat 20,000 rupees. For a 70-minute track day, along with food, tire change for free, service for free. Anything you want to get changed, we never charge anybody. If you want engine oil, yes, for sure, you'll have to pay for your product. But labor and anything, we never charge anything over there, right? And so we wanted to break that monopoly. To be very honest, that these are our friends and fellow enthusiasts. Why are you trying to rip off these people? They've already spent like double the money being in India to buy these cars, like 200% tax. After that, you are also trying to like loot them, like rip them off. So we wanted to get that thing completely off. Like you go to any of the events in the country, it's by run. Ours is unlimited. You want to do 10, 15, 20, 30, 40,
Correct,
50 runs. It is like how much you can take and your car can take. The arena is all for you.
Absolutely.
For me and for my partners, we are from this kind of family background, luckily, and we have all our own businesses. This is not at all monetary. We don't want to make a single rupee out of it. We want to give it back. That is why we always try to like take the maximum funds of our sponsors, because we are giving that kind of audience. You can never get 400, 300 HNIs at one place, and of this magnitude. Anybody coming here is coming with a car which is above 300 horsepower, right? Anything like that, minimum in today's time is 80 to 1 crores. Minimum. It's the base
minimum. Absolutely.
So somebody like this is an HNI.
Yeah.
Right? If you are spending 1 crore on a car, that means you are making good money. Then you spend something like this on a car. You just not go and like spend this kind of money on cars, right? So first, and also to have everybody together, experience each other's cars, go against them, get to see them. People only you could see on Instagram. You will personally meet them, build a relation. I with my Bombay boys, to be honest, and their group name is We Can Talk. Like hats off to them, these guys. They come in with full force. This time they had 28 cars.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And there were more than 50 people in 28 cars.
Just out of Bombay.
Just out of Bombay.
So tell me one thing, knowing about people coming from Bombay and other parts of the country, their logistics, they pay for the logistics or you take care of it?
No, see, since it's not monetary, so we anyway charge them nothing. Like for an event at the booth, driving 70 minutes and 20,000 for 20,000 rupees with all your medical support, all your drift arena access, food, it's peanuts.
So logistics they have to take care.
Yeah, they have to take care, but I get them the best price possible. So we have
I see.
So we have partnerships, we have collaborations with a lot of transport companies.
Understood.
So these guys, I push them for very less prices. I'm like, bro, see, since we are gonna put like 30 cars or 22 cars, that's a 6-car trailer. So it's always in like sequence of 666,
absolutely,
right? So every time, the more the trucks, the lesser the prices. Absolutely. And I've always got them the best price possible. That's not my job.
Correct.
That's not we offer, right? But I just do it out of friendship and for the brotherhood and the kind of relation I've built with these guys over time.
I'm sure it just makes it like, if I am a supercar owner in Bombay, यार मुझे क्या शौक चढ़ा, मैं क्यों दिल्ली गाड़ी लेके जाऊंगा? But if a person like you tells me कि आप आओ, this is the company, आपका logistics का अब इतनी जनता और आ रही है, you would tell me that there are so many more people coming from Bombay. You would help me. If I know a few people, well and good. If I don't, you'll connect me to more people. 100%. Then we'll collate all the cars and then put it in one truck and then send it.
Recently, like this friend, now he's a friend, and before that he was somebody I just knew of. So he has a Mustang. Okay, it's a supercharged Mustang. I think making somewhere north of 800 horsepower.
Okay.
Wow. So that guy unfortunately missed his spot on the truck. He drove it to Delhi.
Are you serious?
And I was like, damn bro. Like you have like...
That is some passion.
Some passion you have. And so what I did, I knew 2-3 people who were driving down from Bombay. I connected him with them. I was like, why do you want to drive alone? Since you are alone in the car, you will not have any kind of support along with you, correct? So I will connect you with 2 or 3 of my friends who are driving down from Bombay. Why don't you connect with them and then come? So that's what I do. I like to connect everybody with everybody. That is what my job is, even at Launch Control, to make everybody as one family.
That brings me to my next question. Throughout your journey of Launch Control, you yourself and people in Launch Control, what do you think, what kind of network it has ended up building and creating? What kind of community it has ended up creating?
Be very honest, I can like travel to any of the states in the country and we do like night drives. I get to like be at their drives. They take me around. Whenever they are in town, I take them around. So I have like in Bombay, I knew up till launch control 3 maybe 2 people. After launch control 3, I know at least 100.
Oh wow.
So that's the kind of network and everything we've built over the years. And my other partners are very low key about it. Their business are more intense, so they get less time. But and also it's person to person, right? They like to be low key and doing the work on the track, right? I like to like converse with people, talk about cars, how to build them, how to make them run perfectly, and things like that. So all of that is there. And not just that, then even in Hyderabad, like I recently traveled to Hyderabad, we had like 15, 20 friends there, which I never would get to meet them ever in my life. I would
And it's
never
just
get
like
to,
a phone call away. I mean, you
yeah.
land there, you make a phone call.
I just put like a story, or I just put them a message saying that I might show up in Hyderabad or in Bangalore or in maybe in Chandigarh or maybe like Bombay or like Indore or like Gujarat. These are the all places where we have had our participants from, even from Dehradun, from
Indore
Chhattisgarh
also.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Last time we had an owner, he did not bring his car, but he has a Ferrari. He drove the test drive vehicle what Ferrari was giving out there. So even at our events, we've been sponsored by like Ferrari, we've been sponsored by Lamborghini,
Of course.
we've been sponsored by Aston Martin, by Mercedes Benz. With Aston Martin, we've unveiled the world's fastest luxury SUV. We were the first people to unveil it for the country.
The DB
The 707.
707.
That's the one. And before that, we unveiled the Roadster to the country, which was the Vantage Roadster. Before that, we unveiled the rear-wheel drive Huracan to the country. And then now the DB12.
DB12.
So it's a car which has come on Carne. It's a pre-production car. It's going around the world. And we were very fortunate enough and luckily, since you know, our friends are people who are now working with all these big brands.
Correct.
And they're leading them now. So I was very fortunate enough that they helped me out with this. Even for my launch control 1-2, Lamborghini Delhi was a big support to me. Abhimanyu being there, other people being there. Now even Ashish is working with them, Tolika for their marketing. All of these people like helped me. Like these were also people who like give us that push. It was not monetary or anything, but it was that it would give me that hype. They would bring their cars, they would ask their customers to be a part of launch control because they themselves had that kind of confidence on us that whatever we will do the best.
So I'm sure, I mean, from what I can see is, as an experience for those 26,500 bucks, a person is not just able to enjoy his own car at different mediums of driving, but also experience different launches, different new cars coming in. Because whoever your sponsors are, they would be putting out their best cars on the display.
They put everything on display, like all SIM.
And not only on display. I don't know if this might be wrong, but do they also give you a chance to drive it around?
Yeah, if they feel you're like a prospect,
okay,
or if you are interested, so they would do like a small background check. They also being a brand, they can't just let anybody bash on their cars.
Fair enough.
So anybody they think they are comfortable with, they give the car to them. Or otherwise they ask us, who do you think would be a prospect, or they ask like a little bit background check from us, who is driving what, can you like give us a list of 20-30 owners who are driving cars which are similar to this, or maybe who have experienced cars like this but they don't have those cars at the moment, but in the future they will go for it. So people who have been on the track and everything, they're still comfortable, but for newbies and people who are coming on the track for the first time, when those times it's a little dicey for these brands to like just give out their cars. Like the 707 was available on the drag strip this time. Before this, even the 296 was available on the drag strip. It was a Ferrari experience what they did with us. So that was there. Before this, even Lambo did it with us. So we had the Huracan on the drag strip. So all these cars, yes, they come, but also that you can't beat on them too much.
Of course.